Once upon a time there was a mother goat who had 7 kids. And each of those kids, well, they would talk and jump and play just like goat kids would. Except, of course, this was a long time back, and back in those days, they say animals lived a lot like people. They lived in houses and they wore clothes. Well, this mother goat, one day while her children were playing with each other in the house, said, "Now, children, I must go to town to go to the market, but you must stay here in the house and close and lock the door, and don't open it for anyone except me. I've heard that wolf is around in the forest, and he would like nothing better than to gobble all you children up." "Don't worry," said her oldest daughter. "We'll be very, very careful, Mom. Bye." And as soon as Mother walked out the door, the oldest sister closed the door and click, locked it. Mother Goat went walking down the path. And as she turned a corner, she didn't notice a gray furry creature hiding in the bushes. Wolf thought, "Ha! Mother Goat has left, now it's time to have some kids for dinner." He crept up to the house and he knocked on the door. Boom, boom, boom. "Open up!" "Who is it?" said the children. "I'm your ma. Open up." "You're not our ma. Our ma doesn't talk like that. You're that mean wolf. Go away," said the oldest sister. And the wolf realized they were right. So he went down the hill to a nearby farm where he found some honeycombs right where the bee nests were. And he took some of that honey and lapped it up to make his voice nice and sweet. And he went up and he knocked on the door again. Boom, boom, boom. Nice and soft this time. "Who is it?" said the children. "It's your mother," said the wolf in his highest wolf voice. "It's Ma, she's back already," said one of the sons, and he ran up to open the door. But then the oldest sister, she peeked around through the window and saw a great gray paw resting on the door. "You're not our Ma. Our Ma doesn't have big gray furry paws. She has dainty little hooves, like all goats do." "Oh, well, it was just some fur gloves I got in town. That's what they are. They're not really my hands." "Well, then take them off," said the oldest sister. And since the wolf couldn't, he turned and stomped away, feeling somewhat frustrated. How many of you have ever been frustrated before? Well, Wolf stomped for a while, and then he got to thinking again, and he went down to a mill, where the miller was grinding up wheat into flour. And he got some of those flour bags and he wrapped them around his paws to make them look kind of white, and doused them in white flour. Then sprinkled himself all over in white flour so his gray fur looked white. And then he sneaked up to the house once again and boom, boom, boom. "Children, I'm home," the wolf said in his sweetest voice. And the big sister, she went and peeked out through the window and saw little white hooves. Looked a lot like their mom's. Saw kind of a white arm. Looked kind of like their mom. "All right," said the oldest brother. "I bet you she brought our favorite food, broccoli." And he turned the lock. Click. And suddenly the wolf pushed the door open and jumped into the house. He started chasing those kids all over the place, over the tables, under the chairs, through the dining room, and up into the living room and in the kitchen. And whenever he caught a gulp, gulp, he swallowed it whole. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He caught and ate. The 7th, well, that was the littlest goat, and after eating all that, he was pretty full. He thought, little one wouldn't make much of a meal anyway. I'll just go down to the river with all my belly being full. Oh. When Mother Goat came home that afternoon, she knew something was wrong right away because the door was wide open. She ran inside and said, "Children, children, where are you?" And she heard nothing. See, she searched high and low until finally she heard a little noise saying, "Ma, Ma, let me out, let me out." And she went to the great-grandfather clock. For those of you not familiar with grandfather clocks, they're big box clocks, almost as tall as a person, with a little door at the bottom. She opened up that little door and out came the youngest of the goat kids. "Mama, it was terrible, terrible! This person came to the door and they sounded like you and they looked a little bit like you and I think they might have had broccoli and well, but it was the wolf. And the wolf came in here and knocked all of us down and gobbled everybody up, swallowed them whole, Ma. It was terrible, terrible!" Mother Goat thought about that for a while, and as sad as she felt, this message gave her hope. "Are you sure he swallowed them whole? He didn't chew them up in the middle or anything?" "No, no, swallowed them whole, Ma. He was working fast to catch all of us." She thought. She went to the kitchen and got a rolling pin and a pair of scissors. Then she got a needle and some thread from her sewing room and put them in the pockets of her apron and said, "Come with me. We'll see what we can do about this." And the youngest kid, he was happy because he knew that look in his mother's eye. That was the look when she was going to do something amazing. She walked down the steps and began looking around, and sure enough, she saw flower footprints go off into the woods and then to the edge of a stream, and there she saw that great big wolf with a very full belly snoring. She walked up to the wolf with a rolling pin and bam! Hit him over the head. Knocked him out cold. Then she took her scissors and started snipping a hole right at his belly. After the hole was big enough, pop! Out came the head of her oldest daughter. "Mom, Ma, help, help! The wolfie gobbled us up and we're all stuck in this big, dark, smelly spot. Give me a hand!" And one at a time, Mother Goat helped those little kids out of the wolf's belly. And then she told them, "Now children, when the wolf wakes up, if his belly's empty, he'll know something was wrong. So go get a rock that weighs about as much as you, and we'll put those in the wolf's belly." And sure enough, those kids got rocks, some of them almost as big as they were, and they rolled them into the wolf's belly. And Mother Wolf, she sewed up the cut she had made, nice and straight, until you couldn't even notice it was there. And then Mother Goat took her 7 children back to their house where they locked the door. And they were a lot more careful about letting people into the house after that. But as for the wolf, well, when he woke up, his mouth was kind of dry. Ha! That's what happens when you eat goats, I guess. I'll just get a drink of water. So he bent over the stream, right in a spot where there was a great big wide spot. And the water was pretty deep. And he leaned over that water and began drinking when suddenly those rocks in his belly slid forward and he tumbled head over paws, splash, right into that stream. And he sunk right to the bottom. And that was the end of that wolf. And that was the end of the story.